Okay, and we're back, and it's a great pleasure to go down to Argentina now, where it's their spring, I guess moving on closer to summer, and spend some time again with one of the most interesting men on the world stage, international observer, and more than that, he's an analyst and a brilliant mind. Adrian Salbuchi. Are you there, Adrian?
Yes, good evening, Jeff. How nice to say hello to you again.
Well, thank you, my friend. It's good to say hello to you. And just in the number of weeks, I don't know how many it's been since you were on last, 4 or 5, perhaps, something like that, things continue to happen at a seemingly ever-increasing pace. The assault on what was a paradigm of existence for much of the Western world increases in intensity, in deviousness, in evil, all the time. It amazes me at the number of attacks that are being mounted against institutions that we held so dear for so long, and they are coming faster all the time. This plan is being executed with a great deal of precision by a mind of pure evil which has been preparing for this time for a very long time.
Well, yes, no doubt about that, Jeff, and we see it in just about every country in the world. We can see it in the United States. We can see it in Argentina. I've been to Europe very recently, and what also gets the impression when you talk to the more alert and more awakened folks down there. One of the things that one notices is that I start to get the impression, Jeff, that there is a plan, there is a certain logic behind all of what is happening, of bringing people and bringing countries and bringing communities more and more to a very chaotic and I would even say a fearful and disorganized situation, so that it will get to a point where I think people will beg that somebody please come in and put order into this growing chaos and into this growing disorganization. And
I absolutely agree. They will give
and
up their liberties.
And they'll come back and say, okay, we will give you world government, but forget about democracy, forget about freedom, forget about everything. Sign on the dotted line and we'll give you some peace of mind.
That's it. Peace of mind, food, security. You can have our liberties. Protect us from the terrorists. Protect us from evil. Protect us from a financial collapse. Anything. And that's how they do it.
Now, the thing is, and it's so important that the work that you do and that we're all patriots are trying to do the world over, of trying to alert people to realizing that they are creating the problems that then they offer pseudo solutions to, or false solutions to, and it is so important that people do not fall prey to this dialectic, this way of going about doing things. We see it in just about every country in the social fabric, the way it's starting to really come apart. And what I most fear is that we have been in a sort of a lull in recent months, which reminds me to what happened in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland, and then everybody just sat around and said, well, the war is just about over. Instead of the Blitzkrieg, which means the lightning war, they even called it the Sitzkrieg, the sitting down war, because nothing happened. And people said, well, nothing's really going to happen. Maybe that was the end of it. And then we discovered very quickly that that was not the end of it. And the impression one gets is that that you read the newspapers, and it seems that you have this false optimism about the downturn, the economic downturn coming to an end very shortly, that the markets are going to bounce back, that, you know, we have great new opportunities. And the truth of the matter, Jeff, is that there is not one single measure that is being taken, for example, to improve the economy and get it back on its feet. And there is not one single measure being done anywhere to ensure a minimum of peace. We have America now debating whether to increase the 68,000 troops that are already there in Vietnam, in Afghanistan. Sorry, they're talking about 21,000 more. That's what General Crystal is asking for. Yeah. There is a lot of warmongering from Israel against Iran, of which unfortunately my country, Argentina, to a small extent, is also a part against Iran and in favor of the Israelis because of our government. And you figure, well, you know, somebody somewhere, as you were saying at the beginning of the program, seems to be throwing all these problems onto the world and then just letting them get worse and worse and worse.
Well, Adrian, the Americans